And Jen, there were some reports out of Iran over the weekend about potential deal for the release of some U.S. hostages there. I know the State Department has contested that report, but just sort of as a matter of principle, is the president open to a dollars for hostages deal, essentially ransom payments to free prisoners, or does it need to be a part of a broader package with the Iranians?
Well, our policy as a U.S. government has not changed on ransom, but I will tell you that discussions to bring home Americans who are held in Iran are something that are raised. That is raised at the highest level through discussions. Obviously, those are indirect. Those are often indirect discussions, or we have our own channels, of course, and they are separate from the nuclear discussions in Vienna. But it is a commitment and a desire by this administration to certainly bring those hostages back. But reports over the weekend that an agreement had been reached to exchange prisoners was not true. And as I said, we always raise this issue, but there's no agreement at this time on the release of these 4 Americans.
One final one. More than 100 days into the administration, when you're up here at the beginning of the administration, you announced the domestic violence extremism review. Do you have an update on sort of where that is, and what will the final work product of that review be?
Sure. Let me give you an update on that. So as you noted, Zeke, we announced early on that we would be undergoing a domestic violent extremism review through the NSC, through the National Security Team, and we announced that during the President's first week. I can report that we completed our policy review in the 100 days we allotted for it. And right now, and this review, of course, tackled domestic terrorism from a range of angles and was comprised of input from various agencies across government. So the stage we're in now is that we are taking a look at what occurred during that review, lessons that we've learned, and ensuring that the policy responses that we've been discussing and developing are the right ones. That's going to take a little bit of time. Our ultimate goal from this review has always been to develop a strategy that will convey to the American people an overarching sense of how we'll be taking on the threat posed by domestic terrorism, something the President has talked about as one of the greatest threats we face. I anticipate an update on that, and the policy recommendations will be weeks, not months. But at this point, that's the stage of the process. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. Just about Secretary Blinken's comments yesterday about Russia, the G7. He said that the United States wants a more stable and predictable relationship with Russia.
Secretary Blinken? Just to make sure. Okay. I think you said Secretary Clinton, or that's what I heard. But okay.
Secretary Blinken. And I was wondering, what does Russia really have to do to make that happen? Considering the Navalny situation, considering the Russian aggression at the Ukrainian border, how do you have a stable and predictable relationship?
Well, our relationship with Russia includes us voicing concerns where we have them, taking actions and putting consequences in place when actions warrant, as we have in the treatment of Alexei Navalny, as we did in reaction to the engagement or the hacking of our own election here in the United States. At the same time, we do think there are areas where we can continue to work together on. This is how historically, national security relationships and diplomatic relationships have worked around the world. So I think what we are sending a message of is that we are not looking to escalate the relationship in terms of rhetoric or actions. Of course, we reserve the right to put in place consequences should their actions warrant, and we want to have a stable relationship where we will work together in areas where it is constructive, as there might be an opportunity as it relates to the Iran negotiations, as an example, and we will continue to voice concerns as we have them.